Hello, hello, check. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, check. Hello. Hello, hello, check. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Students, if anyone is left for the registration, please go outside of this room, auditorium. There you can see the registration desk. Please do your registration first, then take your seat here. If anyone is left for the registration, please go to the registration desk and register yourself. Thank you.
Hello, hello, check. Hello, hello, check. Hello, hello, check. Hello, hello, check. Hello.
A very good morning to one and all present over here. Our delegates are on the way, so you can have your tea, which is actually outside our BC Roy auditorium. You can go and have your tea and biscuit.
to have the courage to make
A very good morning to one and all present over here. Today I am Ms. Rupa Paul, Assistant Professor from Department of Business Administration, is over here to welcome you all. Success is not the key to happiness, happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. I would like to request Professor Dr. Partha Sarkar sir and Dr. Prantik Bagchi sir to come up on the dais and welcome the seat. Today we have gathered over here for the National Conference in Contemporary Issues in Accounting, Management and Economics. In short, we say NCCIAME 2023, organized by Department of Business Administration from JIS College of Engineering, Kalyani. JIS College of Engineering was established in 2000. It is recognized by UGC and the approvals and accreditations of college are the All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE, the National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF, the National Assistance and Accreditation Council, NAC, the National Board of Accreditation, NBA, and many more. JIS College provides many programs including BBA and MBA. Our college has started with Bachelor in BBA, that is Bachelor in Business Administration in 2000 and Masters in Business Administration in the year 2002. So, our department has successfully completed so many years with good number of industrial visits and placement throughout the year. Our department has recently started with 2 new programs of BBA in Digital Marketing and BBA in Hospital Management. Our department is now one of the most reputed management institutions in Eastern India under aegis of JIS educational initiatives. As we all know that Saraswati Vandana is a Hindu mantra. It is addressed to Goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, music, speech, wisdom and learning. So, for that, I would like to call Ms. Priyanka Chakraborty, Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration, to chant a Saraswati Vandana for removing all the obstacles and to help us all succeed in today's event.
Hello. या कुंदेन्दु तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदण्ड मण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाटापहा. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for such a beautiful Saraswati Vandana. I hope everyone over here is feeling an aroma of positivity all around. So now, I would like to request for the lamp lighting, the off the dais and on the dais, Dr. Partha Sharkar sir, our principal, Dr. Prantik Bagchi sir, Dr. Swati Pal ma'am, Dr. Vishwarup Niyogi sir, Dr. Anindos Guhu sir, Dr. Shubhajit Basu Chaudhary sir, to come and be ready for the lamp lighting. Thank you, everyone. Now, I would like to call our principal sir, Professor Dr. Partha Sharkar, to come upon the dais and give a welcome speech.
Good morning to all present in this BC auditorium. our respected guest, Dr. Prantik Bagchi from IIT Kharagpur on the dais, our chief guest, Dr. Sarmishtha Banerjee, who is from Calcutta University. She is on the way. My colleagues present in this auditorium, teachers, friends from other institutes, my dear registered students for this conference present in this auditorium. Good morning to all, first of all. I, on behalf of JIS College of Engineering, welcome you all for today's national conference on contemporary issues in accounting, management and economics. I expect that all of us, those who have gathered here, will gain some knowledge on these particular areas. This area, that is accounting, management and economics, is not my field, honestly. But when it is says management, definitely when sitting in the chair of HOI, definitely I am managing something. So it is some kind of management definitely with me also, that I want to highlight few things on those also. In today's world, it is really challenging for a human resource manager to manage employees in different organizations. Experts will speak different angle of it. They have, those who are experts, definitely they have their views on this thing, on this aspect. Whereas we find, like in educational institute where we are working, a real crunch in actual manpower required for the present scenario. Lot of issues used to come when we recruit people for the organization. So the contemporary issues, when it is saying in management, for me, it is how to retain good manpower in any organization is a challenge. And how to recruit the best talent for an organization, this is another challenge. So the students of management definitely will be undergoing different theoretical aspects of the management, or how to manage human resources, but maybe the persons today, when they will speak, they may highlight some practical issues which will give you some additional knowledge in your field. Economics is a vast thing. I never understand how the economic of a country grow, or growth of economics in a growth of economy in a country depending upon the different parameters. Today morning when I was going through some newspaper, I saw the inflation rate is 5.02 at present, which was beyond expectation because last month it was 6.75. So the calculation or the way it is getting calculated, inflation, is really a kind of technology or a kind of science which is only can be understood the people, those who are dealing with those things. If I remember, before COVID, it is 2018, 2018 mostly, inflation was 3.75. So the way it is getting controlled by, in our country, by Reserve Bank, it is also a challenge for a country. I will not take much of your time because I am not expert in these areas. Only thing I expect that the teachers, the professors, those who are delivering today's lecture in paper session also, or in the second half also when the paper presentation will be there, that definitely some new kind of ideas will come to the students' mind where they can focus. I'll request each and every student who have registered themselves for today's program, please attend carefully and try to learn something so that we will feel that you have gained something. I missed one professor, Dr. Shukanta Chandra Swai, who is from KIT Bhubaneswar, who will be delivering his address through online platform, and definitely from him also you people will learn few more ideas or few more things. The professors, those who are here today, they will also give you the exact or the recent issues on these areas, and I wish all the best for this program, and I am thankful to the Business Administration Department led by Dr. Swati Pal, who has taken pain to arrange this type of conference, and as per my knowledge, she has received, I think, more than 60 papers, from where I think 40 papers has been shortlisted or something like that, 40 plus papers. So it's a great thing that people from different state also, they have submitted their papers, and students from different institute also, they are participating. I wish all the best for this program. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Professor Dr. Partho Sarkar to felicitate our guest, Dr. Prantik Bagchi sir, with a flower bouquet and an utturiyo. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Bishwarup Niyogi sir, Dean Research and Development, JIS College of Engineering, to deliver a short speech.
Good morning, everybody. All the dignitaries present over here, and author, presenters, and organizers. First of all, really, it's a very nice day for the Business Administrations Department. I would like to congratulate all the team members of the Business Administrations Department to organize this type of national conference. So I would like to request a big hand for everybody for this Business Administrations Department. Really, it is an enthusiastic department, and they have already organized this. The topic is a very interesting, the contemporary issue in accounting, management, and the economics. Yes, we are a technical organizations, but the things is that without economics, without this management, without this accounting, কিছুই হয় না, everything is zero. So it's a very interesting thing. This is our outcome for the improvement of the economy, for the improvement of our Indian economy, global economy. We are technologist persons are working, we are engineers are working. So there is a very nice bridge between this particular subject with the engineering and technology. I have already go through with some IPR concept and that kinds of things, the project management concept. I have studied something, and several portions I go for the keynote speaker. But things is that I have also incorporated this economy, Indian facts of the things in this particular domain of the technology. Anyhow, if we can develop any kinds of technology, there is some outcome, productive outcome towards the Indian economy, towards the global economy. Regarding the project, everything's are interdisciplinary. And for that interdisciplinary management of this project, for the different bias, different area of the interdisciplinary in the engineering, that is very much necessary for this management kinds of things. Whenever we are applying any project, the total theme is we have to concentrate on this particular facts, that management kinds of things is there. Because for the getting of the fund, it is very much necessary that how we can conduct this project for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. That is also a management kinds of thing. So this is very nicely connected with the engineering, this is very nicely connected with the technology. And accounting, when we are applying any kinds of project, at that time the budget is totally detailed to relate with this accounting. So this particular conference, it's a very nice platform for our engineering domain student also to know about this accounting concept, know about this management concept, to know about this economic concept. Our JIS College of Engineering, the research domain, several activities are going on in the technological point of view and also the management point of view. And I very much appreciate this department, this business administrations department, for their enthusiastic teamwork to organize these things. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Shandip Ghosh, sir, IQAC Director, JIS College of Engineering, to come up on the dais and deliver a speech.
Respected Principal Sir, and Chief Guest and Guest of Honor, and all the dignitaries present on and off the dais. It is my pleasure to congratulate the Business Administration Department for organizing a national conference in a very short time period. And it is really a matter of pleasure for IQAC to have an event like this, because the quality of every department has to grow, and this is a gradual process. It doesn't happen in a day, but it is happening through the various activities. And that's why, under the able leadership of Dr. Swati Pal, MBA department has done it. And today, as the conference theme says, it is all about management, accounting, and finance, and yes, the economics, of course. You know, all these matters are related, correlated with each other. We know this is the engineering college, and we also know that every engineer is ultimately a manager. So without the capabilities of management, without the knowledge of economics, without the knowledge of accounting, no engineer becomes a manager. So in this process, it is really a bliss for JIS College of Engineering that we have such a able wing for us, as a management wing we call it, which is able to teach different aspects to reach new heights in our professional life. We know that even if we are mostly technical persons gathered over here, and we have the management, with the guests from the management side, but this is a good amalgamation of technology and management by which only a professional career is developed. So I'm looking forward for getting a good outcome from this conference, and it will only come through good participation. So I would like to thank all the participants who have registered themselves. They will present their paper, they will present their thought, their work, their innovation, whatever their growth they are doing in their field. See, research is a word which says that research means something you are searching which is already searched. So somehow it looks amazing. If something is not there in the internet, what will you search, right? So whenever you search something which is already searched, found, done, experimented, analyzed, published, that only you get, right? So now it is a turn for you to, you have already found, you have done something, you have analyzed, you have experimented, you have gone case studies, and now it is your turn to contribute to this literature. We call it literature because this is literature of management, literature of science, and an amalgamation, as I said, ultimately you are going to be contributors. So I would like to congratulate all the participants, and I would also like to request, if you get the chance to listen to the others, not only yours, please do that. If you are allowed in a certain domain in a certain hour of your interactions with the judges, so in that domain, if you are allowed to listen to others also, you should do that. It's not like just present yours and you flee from that point, right? So listen to others. That is the ultimate benefit of attending a conference, apart from publishing papers. So I would like to say thank you, the department, and also I think it will be a great conference overall. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Dr. Pranchik Bagchi sir, Department of Humanities and Social Science, IIT Kharagpur, to deliver a special note on the theme economics. Dr. Pranchik Bagchi sir is an assistant professor of economics in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at Indian Institute of Technology Kharagpur. His teaching interest lies in microeconomics, econometrics, energy economics, and natural resources and environmental economics. The interest of his research domain includes industrial ecology that analyzes the interaction between industries and energy economics. He is having work experience as an assistant professor at IIT Kharagpur presently, and he has done his postdoctoral equivalent fellowship from 2021 to 2022. He has also got UGC rank holder scholarship from 2013 to 2015. Sir, please come up on the dais to give a keynote speech.
Uh, Thank you very much for this heartwarming introduction of mine. And to begin with, I would firstly like to thank Dr. Swati Pal, who communicated with me just few months back, and then I was in some different situations, so I was unable to communicate and then confirm my participation for this conference. And so I was a bit curious as well, so how did she get my contact? Then she told me that Dr. Mrinal Kanti Das, he is just sitting beside Dr. Swati Pal. So he has introduced me because I was working also in the Kashnapara College as a guest lecturer a few years back. And then he was much more cordial to welcome all the young guest lecturers like us at that point of time. And particularly, I would like to mention one specific thing is that is his brother. He is the part of Chandrayaan 3, so please give a big round for his brother. And then, yeah, so, and good morning to all the dignitaries, all the colleagues, participants, and my dear brothers and sisters. So today, as we know, the themes are divided broadly into 4 areas. First is marketing 4.0. The second one is economics, accounting, and finance. The third one is human resource management, and the fourth one is business analytics. Now, I would be sessioning the chair for economics, accounting, and finance, and business analytics in the post-lunch. So broadly, I would be mentioning about how these things are interconnected, and I'll try to keep it short as much as possible. And since there is a mixed audience, I try to keep it simple through different kind of stories, how they are linked, and where can you implement those things. Although I am not an expert in all these fields, even not in economics. So specifically, and genuinely not for being humble, I am telling this, I really don't know. So the thing is, I broadly work on, as she has mentioned, I broadly work on industrial ecology. So that mainly consists of energy economics and environmental economics. But I mean, obviously there is a history because all of us have gone through the master's program, and rigorously we have to go through the history of economic thought. Now, this history of economic thought is kind of getting washed away from the syllabus, but it is, I personally feel that it is equally important for all of us. Now, why that is so? Let me begin with a short story. So 3 friends, they were actually going through a road. So all of them saw a big wall, and one of them were curious to know what is there in the other side. So he jumped onto the wall, and he was filled with joy, and he just jumped onto the other side. And looking at him, the second person did the same thing. He was also telling his friend that I would also like to do the same thing, and he did the same. He jumped onto the wall, and then he was very, very happy and cheerful, joyful, and then he jumped on the other side. Now this third guy was curious. So the thing is, he also jumped onto the world. He saw people are partying, they are enjoying, they are doing all sort of different kind of fun activities, which can be amenities for your life. And then he was also willing to join their side. But then he was thinking on the other side, there is poverty. There are people who do not have the equal access, who do not have different kind of rights. Now then he came back and he wanted to do something for those people. So he wanted to manage both. So in terms of public entity, you can think that particular person as a government. In terms of firms, you can think that particular person as a manager. Now how these things are linked actually? If now if I say this, I mean there is a story. So Ramakrishna, he used to go to the forest and then he would be chanting all through the night, and then his nephew would be standing outside, and one day he was curious, he just went and he saw that he threw away all the clothes along with the sacred threads, which used to be a prestigious thing for the Brahmins at that point of time. Now he said, you will be thrown out of the society, why you are doing this kind of things. Then he said, you have to think out of the box to get closer to your objective. Now if you want to do that, that's what we all are doing. In terms of marketing, either we are imitating or we are innovating, right? So these two things are now highly impactful in terms of data in the 21st century. Now, how these things are linked with economics, or rather if I say human resource management, marketing, any different kinds of forms of economics, all these, or finance even, all these are stemmed from the core economics. Now, how did it actually started? So, if we go back to 1776, starting from Adam Smith, so there was a counter argument with the mercantilist. So there was a group who used to think that, okay, the thing is, if we are trading and the resources are getting out, so basically we are getting deprived, okay. Now, Adam Smith came and said that no, it is not like that. We can trade and we can reach to a better off situation. In a simple term, if I say, let's say I have 6 breads and you have 6 pieces of chicken, 6 pieces of chicken. So you can give 3 pieces of chicken to me and I can give 3 pieces of bread to you, and then both of us can enjoy a better food, right? Then lot of development happened after Adam Smith. David Ricardo came, he made the model a bit complex. If Smith is not correct in many aspects, because he was emphasizing on the cost side. So if that is not correct, then how things can be overcome, and then how can you proceed with the trade idea? Then Ricardo stated that with 2 goods, and that was expanded by JIS Mill. He said for nth good also Ricardo is correct, and all of them were actually emphasizing on the supply side of the economy, and they were relying on price instrument. There were 2 ways to adjust the equilibrium of the economy. So either there is a price adjustment, which is stated by Marshall later on, and then there can be a quantity adjustment. Now if that is the case, so how is it done? So there is one law given in 1803 which is called Say's law. Supply creates its own demand. Now how do you find that this is relevant in today's context? You just go back to 20 years back, and then probably you were using normal mobile phones or land phones, something like this, right? And then somebody thought that, okay, let me introduce the smartphone in the market. And now everyone is using smartphone, starting from the industrialists to the agrarian sector, farmers and others. Everyone is using almost now. So this is how the economy was operating, and these economists are specifically known as classical economics. Now they have a simple funda, that is whether with the increment of inputs, the output will also increase, and they have a shoulder on the fit effect. So what is that? So somebody else has done it for me. I have a parental property and I have the expertise, I have worked for them. So that is why over times the return is going to increase. So in that way they have proposed and they have posed the idea that supply side is the main engine of the economy. Later on, Marxian economics came. That's still not considered as the mainstream economics, so I won't get into that part. And at a contemporary time, there was another set group of economics who are called the child of this classical economist. They are basically known as the neoclassical economics, Alfred Marshall, G. Vons, Walras, and also on Pigou. So they said they are correct in assuming that whenever an input is increased, the output will be increased, but there is a diminishing return. Now, at that point of time, lot of geopolitics were getting actually affected, and it was around the time before the First World War. So during that time, there was lot of problems or nuisance going around the economy. So what happened? Lot of mathematicians got unemployed, and as a result, they were trying to search some nearby fields. They went to statistics, they went to operations, they went to computer science, they went to economics as well. And from that point of time, you specifically see that most of the economic model or their profound basis are basically given in mathematical form. So what is that? That is nothing but the neoclassical economics in normal term. Whatever you learn in microeconomics, that is the exact same thing. So Marshall stated one fine thing. He said, there is a theory, you explain that. If you can't explain that with your words, then you build a model through mathematics. So if both of them you can explain, you please proceed. If you can't explain them, please burn the one that you don't understand, and then you go ahead with the other things. So this is how the neoclassical economics got their prominence, and they were much more kind of similar in terms of analytical framework with the classical economists. Now, there was a problem during or after, specifically after First World War. There was a great depression in the US, and the classical economics, the proposition of classical economics or the proposition of the new classical economics, those things were getting failed. I mean, specifically, probably you can just search the term which is called liquidity trap. So they were trapped into a certain situation where through change in rate of interest and money income, you cannot actually generate full employment in the economy. That was the main concern. Now, at that point of time, I mean, most of the time we think that Keynes was actually the proponent of the demand side effects, but the thing is, he was more concerned about the UK economy than the US economy. His father was a professor in Cambridge, and he was later on, he was also a professor in Cambridge, and he was a fantastic person to tell his teacher as well that you don't understand whatever I am saying. So at that point of time, he said that you guys are going wrong. This is not the supply side which has to be cured. This is a problem of demand side, and then the Keynesian economics become prominent, right? So Keynes has a simple logic through manipulation of rate of interest and money supply. You cannot, if you cannot manipulate the output, then there is a problem of the fiscal demand. So what you do is basically you allow the government to intervene, and at that point of time this was merely challenged because the capitalist economy, they do not want to allow the government to intervene, and they were neither interested nor they were very pro-government kind of thing. But Keynes said that, okay, you dig some hole, some laborers will be employed, they will be getting some wages and salaries, and then you re-employ some labor to fill it up. And once again, through this process, the effective demand will be generated, and through this kind of effective demand generation, you can actually generate some kind of employment in the economy. So then the whole focus got shifted between Keynes and classics. So it was basically a supply side and the demand side economics of the concern. At that point of time, Pigou was actually his prof, but he stated that, okay, we should also take care of the negative externalities, and one more thing is to be mentioned. It is basically at that point of time there was clear-cut division between micro and macro. Before that, there was no clear-cut division. So Ragnar Frisch was the first one to point out that there is a difference. So what is the difference? So in case of microeconomics, we all talk about the partial equilibrium. That is, whenever we are discussing about the consumers, we are discussing about the consumers. Whenever we are discussing about the producers, we are discussing about the producers. And it's a simple summation of consumer, producer, market, where you are getting into the general equilibrium, and that's how the economy is going to get operated. Now, In case of macro, I mean, I met one of the professors who did his postdoc from MIT, and he gave a beautiful example. I said, sir, how decision making is different in case of macro and micro in those days. Then he said, Prantik, let's be very fair. For example, let's say that you are the culprit of something, and then some people want to beat you up, and they cannot do it. But whenever you have done lots and you are getting beaten up, and somebody else is passing by, and then he sees that particular situation, so he can also take a hand, right? So as an individual, your behavior is different. As an aggregate, your behavior is different. So that's how these two groups were prominent from that point of time, this classical versus Keynes. It's nothing but the demand versus supply, and whether to allow the government, and how much, I mean, up to what extent we should allow the government. Now coming to the next era, the growth economics specifically got very, very prominent. It's stemmed out of that because the colonialisms were getting kicked out from most of the economies, and we were more specific on the planning era for 5 years planning and so. And whenever planning is getting implemented, and then you know that, okay, specific growth model we need to adapt. So initially that was between saving, investment, identity. So it's a Harrod-Domar model from macroeconomics. Then after some time, Solow actually came into the picture. He won Nobel Prize in 1957 by giving his productivity theory. So these kind of things were actually very prominent from that point of time. Now, now this is something which, or this is some specific era where you need to be focused, because Amartya Sen was also emerging at that point of time. He was an undergrad student, and then I just heard this story when he was a student. He asked, because development were equated with the growth in GDP at that point of time. So he said, okay, if I am paralyzed, so how can I climb the stairs? So it is not possible. So instead of stairs, you should have some slopes. So that's where, I mean, the idea is generated. So this led to the idea which actually came out in 91's HDI index and so on and so forth. Okay. So that is one. The second thing is, lot of industrialists were actually looking for big investment, and because of that, the financial economics were also getting prominent from that point of time. The third thing is productivity theory was getting prominent. So many people were specifying on productivity, and the other group who were actually more into the model building kind of stuff, they were into micro, and then they were still fighting between with each other, because somebody was telling, okay, demand side is better, the other side is telling that the supply side is better. And coming from the Keynes and classics, the next generation said that, okay, I mean, there was post-Keynesian economics who tried to specify the models of classical economics through simple lens, or through disaggregated lens, or through microeconomic framework. Keynes did not actually propose that thing. And to counter those cases, like for example, in 1973 there was oil price shock, and there was a lot of geopolitical movement, socio-economic movement, policy change. Those things happened at that point of time. And now if that has happened, so there was an argument and counter argument within post-Keynesian and within the new classical economics. So new classical economics also have two groups, like adaptive expectation and the rational expectation. So adaptive expectation is nothing but, let's say, I predicted that 5% growth is there, and then the growth is something 4% or something like that. And there is a deviation. So as a proportion of that deviation, I would be setting my next period expectation. I would form my next period expectation. And through a rational expectation, I would be converging towards the equilibrium price, through which the full employment will be restored. Now, this proposition was kind of countered or developed, or rather further modified by the other groups. And they stated that, okay, instead of doing that, why don't you do, because now economy is progressing very fast, and we are at the verge of somewhere where we are getting the data. Now, if you have the data, the theory may say something, and the data may say something. So instead of going by those ideas, why don't you form some expectation based on the available information? Now, that's how data came into the picture. The policy was already there as a part of different plannings. And particularly if you see in case of Indian economy, at that point of time, specifically from 1960s, they invested a lot of technology, specifically from 1980s or 1990s, or mid 90s rather I should say. This management was termed as one of the major branches, and management, marketing and all these things. So these things are kind of interrelated because now in the 21st generation we are talking about the data, and when we talk about the data, it's not that they are mutually exclusive from management, from technology or from engineering or science, because there are many aspects where we can't understand the specific things. For example, if I ask a person who is from engineering background that do you think that this kind of technology will be helpful in curbing down the emission? In most of the cases, probably if that is a blessing, then the engineering person would say yes. Now what kind of innovation they can specify on that particular thing, whether that's a process innovation, whether that's a product innovation, or whether that's an organizational innovation. Now in case of economics, if I ask the same question to an economist, he may say that okay, I don't disagree with you. In most of the cases it is like that, but there can be a rebound effect. For example, whenever I am curbing down or whenever I am trying to reduce the energy consumption by promoting emission, it may so happen that my profit may get expand, and as a producer I would be like to expanding my business, and I would be ending up with higher amount of energy consumption. So that's a rebound effect for the economists. So if instead of thinking all these people as separate entity or as substitute, you can think that these people are actually complement for each other, because you have the theoretical knowledge of economics, then when you are mingling with the management people and the technology people, they will be having the industry experience, so they will be more able to guide you what kind of, for example, if I want to estimate emission, IPCC has given the estimated emission, I mean how to estimate the emission and what should be the shared socio-economic path, or what should be the RCP, how can you control the temperature increase within next 100 years, surface temperature increase by, and how can you confine that by 1.5 degree to 2 degree. I mean, if you don't do that, there are a lot of consequences, like sea level can rise and then you can get sink. So there are a lot of countries like that, there are a lot of places like that, catastrophe is going to go up. So there are a lot of external costs. Now how can you actually curb down this cost? So these things can be explained, well explained by the economist, but the components or different kind of composition from different kind of input used, those can be better stated by the technology person. Now in case of marketing, if I come, obviously marketing is also a part. I mean, it is nothing separated from economics, because it's all about managing the resources, right? Human resource and marketing, it's all about managing the resources. So how do efficiently you use these scarce resources? That's the only important thing that is being told to us. Now in the 21st century, what has happened is basically all these theories are given. Now we have data. So people are, rather I should say students are mostly fascinated with different kind of language programming or softwares that I know SAS, I know Python, I know R, I know SQL, Java, and so on and so forth. But this should not be the idea. You should actually go by the idea generation instead of knowing some kind of language. I mean, definitely I'm not disagreeing with that part, that knowing some kind of language or programming or softwares is detrimental. Obviously it's a blessing, but that should not be the ideal goal for you. That is only a tool through which you can analyze the data. So wherever you work, as a researcher, as an industrialist, or maybe as a data analyst, so you'll be receiving different kinds of data, and there are different methodologies to analyze those data, right? Specifically, in case of economics, we are mainly concerned about the econometric part, so which is nothing but explaining the causal relationship between different kind of variables, right? How X is causing Y or Y is causing X, something like that. Now in the data of big data, you should actually learn what is the difference. I mean, you can go for some kind of bridge courses, like I found there are few papers on AI and ML, and that's fantastic, because you don't have the distribution, and then when you don't have the distribution, then how can you actually figure out that somebody has written a paper on how AI can be helpful in censoring the Alzheimer and other diseases, or maybe someone has written also, I saw that what is the difference between different kind of nail pigmentation. So these are some kind of interesting topic that will be discussed today. Now, how they are analyzed when you don't have a distribution, then the base is something different from econometrics. So how they are actually connecting with the idea, or whether these things are complements or these things are substitutes, we need to analyze these particular things. In the age of big data, again I am stating, I mean, we have to simply, what we are doing, we are collecting the data, and then we, through some methodologies, we are trying to estimate them. But definitely without the theories, if you don't estimate, that won't be published in a good journals, because at the end of the day, as a researcher, you have to do these things. And it's also for your mental satisfaction. And I think many of you probably would be knowing, but particularly to the students I am telling, all of you who are going to write a paper later on, try to see the indexed and publish in good index journal, because for management, ABDC is good. For the Technology Institute, SCI index and Scopus index, these are good. So there are different kind of indexes. Please check that, and looking forward to a beautiful session. And I end it here. So once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak out my heart.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful keynote speech. Now, among us, we have our guest, Professor Dr. Shormishta Banerjee, ma'am. So I would like to request Professor Dr. Partho Sarkar, sir, to come up on the dais and felicitate madam with a flower bouquet and an utturiyo. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Professor Dr. Shormishta Banerjee is a postgraduate of Commerce and holds a PhD in Management from University of Calcutta, where she is currently heading the Department of Business Management. She started teaching in the Department of Commerce, University of Calcutta in 1990, and has taught in many institutions of higher education. Soon after, she discovered her interest lies in areas of small business, entrepreneurship, microfinance, human resource management, women entrepreneurship, which led her to host several research projects based on microfinance and entrepreneurship. Honored with 2 Fulbright fellowships, UKIERI Award, and several research national and international projects, she has delivered various lectures at institutions both at national and international level, focusing primarily on empowering women through education and entrepreneurship. Currently, she is a research advisory committee member, subject expert, selection committee member, governing body member of different management institutes and university within and outside the state of West Bengal. She has actively been a member in training of Girl Guides for the last 40 years, after receiving President's Award as Girl Guide of Bharat Squads and Guides in 1982 from the President of India, Shri Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. In addition to her academic interest, Professor Banerjee has a passion for business and leisure travel, particularly in exploring remote areas. She is also an enthusiast of cooking multicultural cuisine. Her husband is a professor of mathematics. Her weakness is a good cup of coffee. Madam, I would like to request you to please come up on the stage and give a keynote speech.
Good morning. Am I too loud? Because তাহলে মাইক্রোফোনটা একটু আস্তে করতে হবে। দাদা একটু আস্তে করে দেবেন, মনে হচ্ছে ভীষণ সবার কানে লাগছে। তা না তো? Well, thank you very much for inviting me here. And it's a delight to see my junior colleagues, some of them my seniors, my students who are now in the teaching profession, and the new generation of students who will be the future of this country. Now, I have a request. I apologize for the delay, but in addition to that, I request you all to either stay with us or do whatever you want. But if you are here, let us have this interaction together. If you have any interaction amongst yourselves, you may please continue. I don't think your college authorities will restrict you. But if you are here, let us have an interaction like this. If you want to tell me anything, yes ma'am, I'm talking to you. Yes, my pretty student. If you want to tell her anything, please tell me. ছাত্ররা ভাবে সব মাস্টারমশাই এবং দিদিমণিরা টেরা। So if I look at this person, the other person gets flabbergasted. So actually যার সাথে আমি কথা বলছি সে আবার প্রিটেন্ড করে বুঝতেই পারছে না, মানে আমি টেরা। So it's not that. Anyway, so that's if any of you heard my CV that was being introduced, they said I'm teaching since 1990. Not many of you were born in 1990. So I'm teaching since 1990, and it's not a typographic error on my bio. So এই যে আমি বুঝতে পারছি কার মনে কি হচ্ছে, কে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপটা দেখছো, দেখো না এখন হোয়াটসঅ্যাপটা, ফোনটা রেখে দাও ব্যাগে। রাইট, ব্যাগে রেখে দাও। So I wanted to again go back to the beginning. আমি তো তৈরি করে এসেছি গুড মর্নিং দিয়ে, তাই গুড মর্নিংটা বলে দিয়েছি, 12টা বাজতে একে স্টার্ট করেছি। গুড আফটারনুন ওয়ান্স অ্যাগেন, অ্যান্ড আই এম রিয়েলি হ্যাপি টু বি হিয়ার উইথ ইউ টু অ্যাড্রেস। থ্যাংক ইউ, এটা আরো ভালো হতো। To talk to you about the new things that are coming up. The reason how I got this opportunity to study about the new things, because JIS college invited me and said, Madam, keynote address deben, and at the same time said, HRM OB niye bolben. So how many of you don't understand Bangla? Raise your hand if you don't understand Bangla. Don't understand. তাহলে তো শুনলেই না প্রশ্নটা, হাত তুলে দিয়েছিলে। How many of you don't understand Bangla? So if I use one or two words in Bangla, you don't mind, right? I don't want to be very artificial. I want you to communicate with me, and I want to take this opportunity. এই যে ওকে যেটা বললে এবার এখানে এসে বলতে হবে। White dress. এবার এখানে এসে বলতে হবে। Okay. So I want to take this opportunity to interact with you, because not often do I come to JIS college and talk to my dear students, nor do I very often talk to my colleagues who are here. So I was thinking, keynote address is for everybody, and HRM OB is not for everybody. And another thing was in my mind, that now we are talking about NEP. We are talking about National Education Policy, the focus of which is to allow everybody to do what they want. Whatever subject you want to choose, you may want to do physics and music, you may want to do first semester in Kolkata and second semester in Haryana and come back to Kolkata. So what we're trying to say is, open up your mind. What we're trying to say is, think across disciplines. Therefore, I thought of how can we talk about interdisciplinary so that it has an audience, that it has appeal to the whole audience, and how can I also make it closer to the subject area that JIS wants me to address. So I was studying a little and I have prepared this presentation for you. And especially for my colleagues, I am a teacher and I often have this habit of using references. So I have kept the references. The PowerPoint is with the organizer. কিছু ভুলভাল করেছি? নিজে। So the PowerPoint is with the organizers, and if any of you want to use it, use it. It is nothing patented. It's just my thoughts which have come from experience. That I have realized that we often say, it's a cliche now, people are the most important assets of an organization. Everybody says that, nothing new. We have spoken about human resources. So the word resources, even coal is a resource, and we say natural resource. So the resource word gives us a kind of an indication that it is exhaustible. মানে শেষ হয়ে যেতে পারে. So then management thinkers started talking about human resources as assets. Assets মানে things that generate future income. So these were assets. So when we talk about people, people are resources, yes. So management thinkers always add to new thoughts. How many of you have studied about Taylor and Fayol in your first semester? একজনই পড়েছে টেলর ফেয়ল? আপনাদের সিলেবাসে নেই, মার্কআউট তুলে দিয়েছে? টেলর ও এক দুজন পড়েছে, বাকিরা ফার্স্ট সেমেস্টার না পড়েই এখানে এসে গেছে? আচ্ছা, থ্যাংক ইউ. So we have learned about management thinkers by the name of F. Taylor, T-A-I-L-O-R. ঠিক বললাম? Very good. So I have an audience which can talk. এতক্ষণ তো ভাবছিলাম কেউ কথা বলতে পারে না. Okay, Taylor. So we have management thinkers by the name of Taylor, by the name of Fayol, Fayol's 14 principles. So do we think that nowadays new management thinkers have come about? Peter Senge's fifth discipline. So new thoughts have come about. That does not mean that the old thoughts have been erased. These are not products. যে ক্যামেরা ব্যবহার হচ্ছে না, ক্যামেরার রোল ব্যবহার হচ্ছে না, সবাই ফোনে ছবি তুলছে. Management thoughts are not products. They are things which evolve. And that is how I wish to discuss with you how management thoughts are evolving across disciplines. So what we mean across disciplines is, like, it's easy to be the second or third speaker because my previous speaker has already mentioned that you may talk about an engineering marvel and see how it applies to the environment, how social science experts are dealing with it. So that is exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. So when we talk about interdisciplinary, for us it is very easy to say interdisciplinary. For teachers, for my colleagues, UGC says interdisciplinary research karo. Okay, what is interdisciplinary? We tell you, you can take up interdisciplinary subjects. What is interdisciplinary? So this is where I wish to point out that interdisciplinary means it relates to different branches of knowledge. It combines psychology, sociology, economics, artificial intelligence, accounting, and statistics to put it in a basket and see how these subjects can be put together for the use of people. So we are actually using people. Very often it is said that when artificial intelligence comes about, ChatGPT, we will not have jobs, we'll have better jobs. Because we have a soul and we are creating those of softwares, as my previous speaker, Dr. Bagchi, said, that please do not think that knowing one software or knowing 4 softwares makes you master of all trades. It is knowing the subject that makes you a master of the trades. Where will you apply the software if you don't know the subject? Very often, the modern day business management thinkers or policymakers talk about an emphasis on case studies. I'm sure your teachers teach you case studies also. But can you do a case study if you do not know the theory? We cannot. So if you have studied the theory, then only you can apply it to the case. Therefore, sometimes we get mixed up. So how will we prevent ourselves from being mixed up? We need to ensure that the education and training methods, which teachers call as pedagogies, takes into consideration the modern as well as the traditional schools of thought. So, where are we talking? As I just now told you, I'm going to show you how human resource management and how all the other subjects can be put in a basket. And this basket is of use for all people working in this institute, all people working in a large multinational company, which is manufacturing products, or in the ITES-enabled companies, which is engaging in the service sector. Therefore, let us see how each of the subjects are contributing to the lives of people and how you all can think of studying beyond your BBA. Raki shobai BBA? Tumra BBA na MBA? BBA and MBA? Both? Very good. So, how can you take it beyond your BBA and MBA classrooms, and how you can use it in your workplace, or if you start your own business, or if any one of you want to do research? So let us see how we can move forward. Now, when we are talking about interdisciplinary manner, I said we are putting it in a basket. So when we are putting it in a basket, this question arises very easily. Then the human resource manager becomes a jack of all trades and master of none. The human resource manager talks about a fuzziness. It takes something from there and something from there. Yes, it is needed to take something from everywhere because you are dealing with people. And your people are going to add value to the organization in many different ways. So that is why it is not only a lack of distinctness, but it is necessary that this new area of professional practice is based on the underlying theory of all the subjects. So I begin with, since Dr. Bagchi has made it easy for me, see, we didn't plan, but see how people think alike. I begin with statistics. We do take a lot of statistical help in preparing your, what do you call it, your project report? Ki bolo? Project report bolo? PhD korte giye dissertation boli amra, thesis boli. We focus a lot on that. But that remains incomplete unless you have based it on the theory of statistics. Do you know any statistical tool, any method that anyone, MBA, regression এর নাম শুনেছো? শুনেছো? So regression করতে হয় না? Data লাগে 600 data, 900 data, 1200 data. Timeline data, 20টা কোম্পানি 10টা বছর প্রবেশ দিয়ে দিয়েছে, CMI data দিয়েছে. So we hear of this so often. But why am I doing this regression? What kind of curve am I trying to fit? Am I doing a linear curve? Am I doing a parabolic curve? ওই প্যারাবোলা বলে কি একটা পড়েছিলাম না ক্লাস 8-এ? তখন ভাল লাগতো না। So what is important is not to know how to do it using SPSS or Stata or R or Python or whatever. It is important for you to know আমি কেন median করছি আর কেন mean করছি না। That is a fundamental question. So it is important for us all, whether I'm teaching, whether you're researching, whether you are doing your BBA or MBA, to understand the basic theory behind statistics. Why am I doing a histogram and not a bar diagram? Why am I doing a component bar diagram? Now imagine a situation. You have data about কত student JIS college? তোমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করলাম তো কত স্টুডেন্ট JIS কলেজে? 5000? Okay. We have data of 5000 students. We know their gender, male, female. We know BBA, BTech, MBA, MTech. We know all that. Now we know their height. 5 foot 1 inch, 5 foot 2 inch. We know that. So we have this big data set. Now what are we trying to do? You have made a very nice cross tab. Cross tab hoye geche, ekta command e hoye geche. Very good. Then I have told a student, আচ্ছা একটু প্রপোর্শন গুলো দেখো তো, মিডিয়ানের নিচে কত পার্সেন্ট মেয়েরা আছে, মিডিয়ান হাইটের নিচে কত পার্সেন্ট মেয়েরা আছে। ম্যাডাম রো এর পার্সেন্টেজ নেব না কলামের? So you're trying to memorize the formula. Madam, row percentage korbo na column percentage korbo? That is the question. That is my quick indication of the statistics theory tai bojheni. So what you really need to know is not necessarily to calculate the row or the column percentage. But you need to know what are you trying to find out. You're trying to find out the number of students whose height is below the number of girl students whose height is below the median. So this is where your knowledge of theory matters. Let me again tell you, the knowledge of theory is not something that you have to memorize. It is something that you have to understand and apply. তাহলে মেমোরাইজ করে কিন্তু স্ট্যাটিস্টিক্স দিয়ে রিসার্চ বা স্ট্যাটিস্টিক্স দিয়ে HR হয় না। So what I primarily want to share with you is very often we use a lot of statistics to explain the situation, the inventory of human resources. কতজন টিচার আছে, কতজন PhD আছে, কতজন 12 বছর চাকরি করছে, কতজন 18 বছর চাকরি করছে। We use a lot of statistics. But what are we trying to show? Please ask yourself this question. When you do your term paper, please ask yourself this question. What is my goal of the research? And what is my objective of the research? Do you know the difference between goal and objective? My goal in life is to remain healthy, and my objective is to lose 5 kgs in the next 1 year. Hobe? Goal and objective? Okay. So let us proceed. My colleagues may be thinking, how silly, but sometimes একটু স্টুডেন্টদের সঙ্গে বললে কাজে দেয়। So we are not only talking about statistics, we are also talking about other subjects. I know when you do BBA and MBA, there are many students who take finance specialization. Among the MBA students, let me see how many MBA, raise your hands. সবার কি frozen shoulder? এরকম কেন? পুরো হাত, আমি বুড়ো মানুষ পুরো হাত তুলতে পারি? আচ্ছা, কজনের মার্কেটিং MBA specialization? Finance specialization? Few students are here, I think everyone is not here. Very often, the finance specialization students dominate the MBA market. And financial modeling is a very sought after career. Everyone wants to crack the Wall Street job or at least make some quick money in the BSc. When you're doing this, of course, you need to use your statistics for panel data regression. You need to know your economic changes. You need to know the trends in the market, when it is operating on bullish or bear terms. In that case, it is also relevant for all of us to remember that the stock market actually operates on people's behavior. When an economic policy is framed, depends on how the country is responding to it. When two brothers fight and one brother becomes insolvent and the other brother grows and grows and grows and tries to become the conglomerate. So in that case, it depends on how people are responding to buy or sell their shares. So it is the behavior of people. If you do behavioral finance, you may need to think that very often people get engaged in mental calculations. If you are doing this, then I'm doing this. Like I'm getting into mental calculation about somebody's making the bun in her hair. Somebody is looking down and taking out something from the bag. So I'm making a mental calculation. Oh, Englishটার মানেই বোঝেনি, যে লজ্জাও পেল না। হয়ে গেছে চুল বাঁধা? এবার বলি। We often find that people behave in a particular way as a response to an economic change. So some economic change has brought about a change in the share market. And we are sitting in our finance labs and trying to calculate a model out of it. What are we trying to predict? We're trying to predict how that 1.3 crore people will behave. What product will they buy? Which share will they sell? If few people are selling, then the prices of the shares are going down. So some others who have surplus money are not looking at short-term profits will buy that. So we are sitting in our desk and trying to calculate that financial model. But what is that financial model being dictated by? Dictated by people's behavior. So that is why I wanted to mention to you that human resource management is a subject which gives you a lot of opportunity to tie up with many other subject areas. Of course, when you do human resource management, there is an integral part which talks about industrial relations. And when we talk about industrial relations, we are governed by the legal provisions of the country. One very important thing that happens nowadays is people are working in multinationals. So I am an Indian. I get a job in Germany working for an American company. So there are rules of 3 countries that are involved. Where do I pay taxes? What are my leave rules governed by? By Indian law, German law, or US law? So these are new things which are coming up. Law, yes, is necessary to be known. Industrial law, even more important. It governs what happens within India. But what else is happening with the global business scenario is there are a lot of people moving from different countries. And as I gave you the example, one nationality working in country B, nationality of A, working in country B as an employee of country C. Interesting module that maybe you will do in your master's course, International Human Resource Management, especially because the compensation part of people is calculated. In India, I work, I get 1 lakh taka mashe, and I think, oh, ki bhalo, onek taka pai, gari kore ashi. If I take that 1 lakh to Germany, mm, is it 1 week's money? Because there is a currency factor. If an American company pays me that 1 lakh, they are violating their minimum wage act. So you will be one day such employees. The global stage will be your place of work. You will travel across different countries and you will have to equip yourself with the rules of the different companies, the rules of the different countries that will govern your career. So it's important for each of us. As teachers, we need to teach you. As students, you need to learn not only for that mark out module 4.5 International Human Resource Management, but also because when you get a job in such a position, you must know what to look for. You don't have to memorize German rules and American rules now, but you must know that you are a parent country national or a third country national. You must know what is your status. As I proceed, আমি আর 10 মিনিট বলতে পারি? না, ওদের ভালো লাগছে না, কার কার যেতে ইচ্ছা করছে? কার যেতে ইচ্ছা করছে? ওকে, থাকো তাহলে মন দিয়ে শোনো। The reason why I'm telling you these things because we as teachers are pressed for time. সিলেবাস শেষ করতে হবে, ইন্টারনাল পরীক্ষা নিতে হবে, মিড টার্ম নিতে হবে, কোয়েশ্চেন পেপার সেট করতে হবে। We don't get this opportunity to tell you the new things that are coming up. And these conferences is that opportunity where we can just plant the seed of the new ideas in your mind. And I can share with my junior colleagues the new things that are coming up, and I'm sure they also know the newer references that I have tried to bring for you. This is common psychology, organization behavior, influences individual. We know about how people are motivated. Which theory of motivation do we know? No? BBA, MBA, no theory of motivation, no name, one name. No, kichu jano na? Ekta loke Maslow, very good. Excellent. Give her a clap. Okay, so we know Maslow's theory that governs individual. Does that govern everybody? No. We know individual behavior is influenced by various psychological theories, and we also know that group behavior is influenced by sociological theories. Are you familiar with the terminology about the 5 stages of group formation? Norming, storming, etc., etc. So what does sociology influence human resource management? Sociology influences human resource management about how people behave when they are together. Psychology influences human resource management when we talk about how each employee responds to a particular policy, action, change. And sociology theory is important for us to understand how people in general are behaving, and something else also, how society is behaving, how culture has influenced us. When you talk about, I will introduce this word to you, which is not on the slide, diaspora. What is diaspora? It's a sociological term which talks about, as an Indian, when I'm settled in Bangladesh, I am a diaspora, Indian settled in Bangladesh. So how is the culture of Bangladesh influencing the culture that I have carried with me? So say I work for Exide Batteries and I have been transferred to Bangladesh, and Exide Battery has made me the HR manager. So in Bangladesh, all my workers are Bangladeshi people. The reason why I use this example of Bangladesh is because we speak the same language, but culturally we are so different. In in Kolkata, in Bengal, if you ask 5 workers to do something or 5 students, eta kore dao, most will say, chesta korchi madam, hoye jabe madam. But in Bangladesh, if you ask 5 students to say, eta kore niye esho, they will, all 5 will instantly say, shomosha nei madam, kore anchi. But you don't know. It's the same. Students globally are the same. Some will do, some will not do, some will not show their face again. Some will give babar shorir kharap chilo. Globally it's the same. But the cultural difference is, in Bangladesh, everybody across all layers in the hierarchy will say, "Shomosha nei madam, kore dicchi." So that is a face-saving behavior. That is a sociological, contextual thing. It's face-saving. Mukher opor na bolte pari na. Have you heard this before? And in management, do we teach you the ability to say no? You have to learn. As managers, you have to learn the power of no. The ability to say no. But how you say it is important. That is individual behavior. That is, how am I going to say no? এই তো সাথী আর আমি এই কথা বলছিলাম যে আজকে আসবো, আমার আরেকটা প্রোগ্রাম এলো, আমি সাথী বললাম, সাথী আমি পারবো না, আমি তোমাকে অন্য আরেকজন স্পিকার দেব। তারপরে আবার আরেকদিন আমার প্রোগ্রামটা ক্যান্সেল হয়ে গেল, আমি সাথী আমি আসবো, আই এম সো এক্সাইটেড, আমি জিআইএস এ যাব। Because আমার তো often, so that power of saying no, I have the power of saying no because I know she will not misjudge me. আমি আরেকদিন আসবো, আমি তোমাদের স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য মিট করতে চাই, আমি তোমাকে অল্টারনেট স্পিকার জোগাড় করে দিচ্ছি। So that saying no, and rather সেদিন সকালে বলার সাথে আমি না যেতে পারলাম না। So the power and the way you say it, it is important that you communicate your reason of saying no. It is important that you execute your no in a manner that the other party is not taken at or faces a problem. So this is contextual, sociological and psychological behavior. When we talk about artificial intelligence, this is a very new thing. So I have used a lot of reference in this. As I said in the beginning, artificial intelligence, the debates that come is, will it make people jobless? বলো আমাকে বলো, ওকে কি বলবে? বলবে না? ঠাকুর দেখার প্ল্যান করলে? তাহলে আর করো না। When you are in front of a teacher who can see everybody's eyes, don't do that. Okay. So artificial intelligence, এটাই artificial intelligence. আমি মেক মাই ট্রিপে গিয়ে দেখলাম দিল্লি কলকাতা ফ্লাইট। ফেসবুকে আমার দিল্লির হোটেলের বিজ্ঞাপন আসতে থাকলো। Artificial intelligence. So does artificial intelligence make people jobless? No, it just improves the lives of job workers, of workers. It improves the lives because I can do more work at the same time. I can have more free time. And I can use my free time in a better way for ultimate quality of life in my perspective and for ultimate performance enhancement of the company's perspective. So artificial intelligence is beyond the field of human resource management because it consolidates the AI tools for technical advancement as well as to people who are influencing the technical advancement. So it's the people for whom AI is being used, and it is used, created by people. So AI cannot operate in vacuum where there are no people. Even if you're talking about the journey of the satellites to the moon, it is because people here are designing it. And it is because people want to know what is the surface of the moon and what are the particles that it is expected to bring back. We will test to see how much water or whatever it is. I mean, ekdam science jani na. So another thing that artificial intelligence brings about is to find out about the labor market, how the labor market may behave, what kind of motivation and demotivation takes place. You know, artificial intelligence also measures how many times workers smile during the day. So job satisfaction, you don't have to go by that blessed questionnaire of 32 questions with 5-point Likert scale. Maybe someday there are cameras everywhere. The camera will have an attachment which will measure how many times the worker smiles during the day and how many times the worker frowns during the day. So that shows, এই যে তোমরা দু একজন হাসলে, দু একজন স্মাইল করলে, তাহলে আমি বুঝলাম আমার percentage of people I have made happy. এটা তো হিউম্যান ব্রেন বুঝলো, কিন্তু একটা বড় কারখানায় আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স এইটাই মেজার করবে। And you are the manager of, you are the CEO of that company. So you can do the data check and analyze which situations make the workers happy, which situations make the workers frown. So you as senior managers, the CEO of the company, will be able to take decisions in that regard. The last thing that I will talk to you about, next thing I want to talk to you, we often hear about marketing as a specialization. And we also hear about HR as a specialization. This year, I am introducing a subject in my university which talks about marketing as HR and HR for marketing, which means people who are my employees are becoming my brand ambassadors as my marketing tool. So I'm not hiring Shah Rukh Khan to market my product. I am investing that money in my employees to make them talk about my product which they are happy to work about, which they are being satisfied and they are promoting the company. I'll give you some small examples. The first example that I have here is, you know, we often say in marketing that a particular product has a market share, like Asian Paints and Berger, এখন তো বোধহয় better example হবে Sham Steel or Captain Steel. So each product has a market share. Now can you imagine if you ask a question to all B school employees, do you want to work for Reliance or Tata? I don't want you to give an answer, just in your mind. Do you want to work for Reliance or Tata? Suppose this question goes out to 25,000 students who are doing MBA. So indirectly, it is a marketing for the two companies, and it is a response that the companies are getting for their own HR policies. So like marketers think they have to grab a share of the market, even Reliance and Tata think they have to get a share of the youth to employ in their organizations. So the best employers are always scouting for the best employees. So HR is also the marketplace where big companies are trying to recruit, because it is you people who will be recruited and become the better marketing managers to sell their products. So you are more important to the big companies than the product they are selling today, because you will sell their product tomorrow. So HR marketplace is a very big market today. And there are large number of companies who are dealing with this HR marketplace. Naukri.com, what is Naukri.com? HR marketplace. What is it selling? HR. What is this fight about? Have you heard of pre-placement talks? What is a pre-placement talks? হয় pre-placement talk? একটা কোম্পানির লোক এসে তোমাদের বলে তুমি যদি আমার কোম্পানি জয়েন করো তাহলে তোমার নেক্সট 5 বছর এই গ্রোথ হবে, তোমার এই স্যালারি হবে, তোমার এই পজিশন হবে, বলে বলে তো তোমাদের বলেনি এখনো, বলে বলে কেন? বিকজ দ্যাট কোম্পানি thinks of you as a product that they want to buy. So this is the place where HR and marketing is actually overlapping. I have brought these slides. If any of you want to use it for your teaching class, for distribution to your students, please feel free. So HR marketing strategy indirectly contributes to the organization's goals, because আমি যেটা আগে বললাম তোমাদের আমি রিক্রুট করছি কেন, তোমরা আমার প্রোডাক্টটা কালকে বিক্রি করবে। তাই আজকে যারা বিক্রি করছে আমি তাদের নিয়ে অত ভাবছি না, ওটা মার্কেটিং ম্যানেজারের জব। আমি HR ম্যানেজার আমার মার্কেটটাকে রেডি করছি। The marketing manager is dependent on me as the HR manager to give him a better marketing manager for the next 5 years. So you understand how the HR field is also becoming a competitive field. We often hear of something called content writing. Free time e content writing korchi. So what is content writing? An employee can do some content writing about that company, praising the company. আমি আমার ফেসবুকে বেড়াতে যাচ্ছি, রেস্টুরেন্টে খাচ্ছি, দিতে থাকি। কিন্তু কোনোদিন কি দিই যে ক্যালকাটা ইউনিভার্সিটি আমাকে এত ভালো একটা অফিস দিয়েছে, কম্পিউটার দিয়েছে? দিই না, বিকজ আমি আমার কোম্পানিকে প্রমোট করিনি। তো তোমাদের যদি এরকম থাকে যে তোমরা পার্সোনাল ব্লগে তোমার কোম্পানিকে প্রমোট করো, সো ইউ অ্যাক্ট অ্যাজ দি ব্র্যান্ড ইকুইটি এনহ্যান্সার অফ দ্য কোম্পানি। So the employee becomes the brand ambassador of the company, and that comes with the name of brand equity, HR and brand equity. What we mean as how can HR add to the equity value of the brand? How can employees add to the equity value of the brand? By publicizing your product, by being proud of working, by saying this is the best employer to work for. So this has now come about as much as financial modeling is scientifically based, which is called employee-based brand equity. And I think many of you, as you proceed with your lives, you will be dealing with these subject areas which come by the name of employee-based brand equity. So see what interdisciplinary this name has. It is employee-based, it is brand, and it is equity. So we said we will talk about interdisciplinary subject areas. So this is the way forward. This is your future. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I have picked at you. তোমরা যখন গপ্প করতে চাইছিলে। So thank you. Any questions, any observations? Anyone wants to connect with me? My phone number is in the university website. WhatsApp koro, uttor dei. Mail koro, I answer all emails. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? Anyone want to ask anything to Sharmishta, ma'am? Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was such a wonderful keynote speech. Now I would like to request Dr. Sheila Singh Ghosh, ma'am, Vice President, Corporate Relations, JIS Educational Initiatives, and Registrar of JIS College of Engineering, Kalyani, to felicitate Madam with a memento. Thank you. Now I would like to request Dr. Sheila Singh Ghosh, Madam, to come up on the dais and deliver a short speech among us.
Hello. A very good afternoon. Our honorable speaker, Dr. Professor Shurmishta Banerjee, all my colleagues and my beloved students over here. Actually, you know, I never would like to miss any discussion, any conference which is on the management. So my delay of coming, my apology, I have been delayed, but actually I was having an that pre-placement talk and interview with the IIM JOCA students, which was going on virtually. So I have taken a break to come and attend this program. So I was thinking that what are the difference they are making? Why, just now Madam said that brand equity. Why people are over there, you know, for the brand equity? Why we are thinking about IIM? Why we are not thinking about other colleges and others? Why it is different? So, you know, through their work, through their attitude, through their, what should I say, presentation, it gives me the answer that why they are IIM and why we people are looking at them, that what they are doing. There is no harm, you know, if you get something good and you pick up something from there. I remember one thing at the first interview in my life, because I have started, actually I was a science student, then I went to IT, and you know, I was not getting that satisfaction which I was looking for. Then I did my MBA, and the first interview that was going on with a multinational company. So all of a sudden there was 5 person was interviewer. So they asked all the question and I was answering theoretically because that time just now I passed, you know, this thing. So one gentleman, you know, he was from abroad, as because it was the multinational company, so he was heading that thing. All of a sudden he asked to his co-panelist, do you think she is a MBA material? So I got shocked that it was not known to me that, you know, this type of question may ask. So I just consolidated myself. I said, okay, Sheila, cool. Don't come out in the way what you are. So behave gently. Because I have taken it in a very, you know, wrong way. So I said, why you are asking to the co-panelist? You ask me. I can answer you. But first of all, you tell me. I mean, what you are trying to say by the material of MBA or not? So then he said, yeah, that's why I'm asking. I was not having the answer, so now I've got the answer. I mean, the person who can, Madam said that who can say no with dignity, to prove themselves that how transparent, how divine, how strong they are to say no. So sometimes if somebody says something, you don't like it, it is not necessary that you have to be very quiet and okay sir, okay, when you are telling me that I am not very good in this job, okay, maybe. So please don't accept that thing. And I am telling you that one day it changed my life. When I got the, you know, I have collected the power within myself and I said no. What I know, I will say yes. I know, I have got, you know, confident on these things. But first of all, I am not the person to take every bits and pieces whichever will come to me as challenges. I will just face it and I will destroy it or I will resolve it. The manager word in the management. This is a very nice topic. Shati has chosen that accounting, management, economics. But my dear friend, I learned from my 25 years of experience being in different role in different organization and participated in different countries. I mean, more than 24 countries I have given, I have addressed people like you know, the students and others. One thing I came to know, that if, you know, we say there is a one proverb, that jack of all trade, master of none. Definitely multitasking is required. But you should be strong in one subject, which you can say purposely, you know, that yes, I know this. One thing that you must learn, which is very close to your passion, heart. So when your passion will reflect in your professional life, nobody will be able to make you stop. So these all are the Gyan Vakya, so I am not going to tell you all those things. Everything is there, there is no harm, we are progressing. Artificial intelligence, machine language, chat GPT, it's all created by you guys only. So that is, you are the creator of that. So you have created for what? For the betterment, as ma'am said, betterment of your life, to have all the information at a time. Because I learned one thing from that. Because when I was doing research on IT, I learned one thing, that computer can take one instruction at a time. That's why they are so accurate, they are so perfect, and they are so fast. But what we do work on something, we think about another thing, and we are imagining something else. So these 3, 4, 5 things jumbled up, and we are not doing anything appropriately. So take that thing, we learn from that thing, because we have given that instruction, we have made that computer like that they can take one instruction only at a time, rest will be on the queue. But our human brain, we have to, settle it. That is called the self-esteem, the willpower, and that is also possible. You dominate that. You try to, that's why, I wrote a book, I'll just give it to Swati for you all, that Awakening to Incarnation. It was on the empowerment. I won't say that women empowerment or weaker section empowerment, nothing like that. But that book says everything you are having on you, and you just need to awaken up and prakatwa jo bolta hai na, incarnation. And then you can do everything. So please guys, do it. Try to find out what you do have within yourself. You can do it. Nobody will be there. Don't ask for anybody. I have visited last year Israel with 15 or 14 students from our college only. You know what they said? It was not to me the characteristic of Israelis. I used to know that they are very good on the research. I know that 50% of the paper, which has been the best paper, best patent, that is from Hebrew University. And rest 50% is from all other rest of the university in the world. You know that what is the population of Israel? That is maybe, 1.5 crores. And do you know how many Nobel laureates they have given? 150 out of 670 Nobel Prize declared till date. And that is 25% of the total Nobel Prize awarded till date. 1.5 crores of people. And we are, when I am talking about 120 crores was there. And we have given 5 Nobel laureate. Out of that 2 is, I think, only we got birth in India. So that is considering the total Nobel and considering the total population, 0.80% only. So why they, I was looking for that, why they are, progressing like that. I met with one of my friend, Professor Mala from Holland Institute of Technology. She said, Sheila, you know why? That necessity is the mother of invention. That is our motto, because when we take birth, we know nobody is there. That is a desert area. That is, surrounded by all the enemies. I am not favoring anyone. I am not, opposing anyone. But I am giving you the characteristic, how the characteristic build up in human being. They say we do not have anything. The nature is not supporting us. Our neighbors are not supporting us. Everybody, we have got the most worst that Holocaust thing. I mean, no other people has, faced that one. So what we thought, we are alone, we have to fight and we have to stay. That is my duty to make myself confident, convenience and the honor for myself. That's why they fight till the end. That attitude, and everywhere, and I have seen the agriculture side. 15 days I was there. I went from east to west and north to south. The desert, how they become, they are the food producer, that is not only enough for their country, but they are also exporting it. They have taken technology in that stage. And the cyber security, Israel is the startup nation in the world. The maximum startup has come up from Israel. So you please think about yourself. You don't expect that somebody will come and hold your hand. And basically, those who are from the MBA profession, consider yourself as a manager. You have to manage it. Company or anybody may ask any sorts of things from you. Sometimes they will think you are Dashabhuja, sometimes they will think you are in one country and everything. Every problem you need to solve. So that's only comes from your self-esteem and self-willpower and the knowledge. And please don't forget, as I told you, you need to do the multitasking, but please try to find out what are the area you like most. And just research on that, work on that, and become the best of that. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. A very happy Sharodiya once again. And thank Madam. Because I got the opportunity to learn her presentation. She is really, it's mesmerizing her. And please have these slides. It will help you a lot when you will be alone and seeing this PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sharmishta ma'am, for being with us as a chief guest. Since ma'am has some prior engagements, so ma'am will be leaving us. Rest of the delegates will be with us. Now we have a virtual session of Dr. Shukanto Chandraswain. He is a professor and dean of School of Humanities, Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology, KIIT, deemed to be university, who will join us with a virtual session. So please give us a minute to connect him in a virtual session. Yeah, sure. Sharmishta ma'am, she has a question to you. Audience, please be seated. We will start with the virtual session soon. Hello, sir. Are you audible to us? Okay. So I would request all to please settle down. We are in our virtual session with Dr. Shukantu Chandra Swain. Sir, we welcome you over here. Dr. Shukanto Chandra Swain is an MPhil and PhD in Applied Economics. Besides being a law graduate, he has more than 27 years of experience in teaching undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral program at different institutes and universities of repute. Besides successfully guiding research scholars in their doctoral degrees, he has considerably degrees contributing to the intellectual research world in the form of publishing research papers in referred journal of national and international reputes, taking up consultancy projects, conducting workshops, national and international seminars, conferences, faculty development programs, and management development programs. His research interest is in welfare economics, financial economics, and general management. Prior to joining KIIT, deemed to be university, he was associated with the Institute of Chartered Financial Analysts of India as a professor and associate dean. Sir, we welcome you all over here. Sir, you can start off with our speech.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So, respected Principal Professor Parth Sarkar ji, Honorable HOD of the Business Administration Department, Dr. Swati Pal ma'am, respected keynote and special note speakers, esteemed delegates and members of the organizing team. A very good afternoon to all of you. At the outset, I must thank Professor Sarkar ji and the organizing team for making me privileged to be part of this national conference on contemporary issues in accounting, management, and economy, organized by the Department of Business Administration, JIS College of Engineering. I will be speaking for maybe half an hour or so on contemporary issues on macroeconomic scenario in India. So let me share the screen first. Is it visible? Yeah.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So we know that in Indian economy, the macroeconomic parameters are going to not many issues. So we cannot address all the issues in a one session. So what I have planned, I'll be briefing about the macroeconomic scenario of India in a very short cell. Then I'll be highlighting on three contemporary issues in a macroeconomic scenario. One is on crowding out, second is on growth, and third is on manipulation in Indian stock market. And then finally the conclusion of our stock market. So I guess my voice is echoing. Is it clearly audible? Oh, okay. So in nutshell, we can just brief picture. Population of India, if you go by, it is 41.71 crore as per 2021 estimation. And as per 2023 estimation, it is 142.86 crore, which is higher than the China's population, 142.72. You can say that India has surpassed China in the population count. GDP of India is $2.32 trillion. It is estimated as per nominal count. and it may cross 5 trillion in 2026-27. GDP-wise, India is having the rank 5th. It is, of course, nominal GDP, and in purchasing power parity count, India is having the rank of 3rd. So GDP growth is 7.2% in financial year 2022-23, and it is 6.3% in 23-24. So GDP by sector, primary sector, basically agriculture 18.8%, secondary sector, industry 28.2%, and service sector or tertiary sector 33%. You can say that Indian economy is basically led by service sector. And if you look into the inflation, as per the consumer price index, it is 5%, and unemployment is also having 30.2% if unemployed. So we know that if there is inflation, unemployment rates would decrease, but we are finding in Indian context, the inflation rate and unemployment rate are increasing. It gives the impression that there is stagflation in our economy. So population below poverty line, if you take into account the benchmark as $2.15 per day, as per the 2017 parity, then 11.90% are living below poverty line. And if you take multi-ethnic poverty as the indicator, then 14.96% of the population living below poverty line. And in SBI index, India is having 132nd rank among 191 countries. This is in brief summary of the country. I am not sure whether I am audible properly or not, because something issue. Can anyone please respond?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. We all can hear you.
Okay. So, out of the 3 concepts, what I have chosen for this talk, the first one is crowding out. In literal terms, if you define crowding out, it means driving away someone from the competition. In macroeconomic scenario, as you know, we are having our loanable market. From that loanable fund market, both the private party and government takes loan. If at government stretches the public spending by taking loan from the banks, then there is a possibility that the bank loan may not be available to the private entities. Here's one. If at it is available also, because of more demand from the government side, the loanable fund market will be behaving differently, like the rate of interest may go up. In that case, with the government, it can afford to any rate of interest, but private parties, after certain limit, they cannot afford. Therefore, if at all, by increasing the government spending, if the private investors are deprived to get the loan and invest, then that is a situation of crowding out. So we can say, if due to public spending, private parties, maybe investors are denied of getting loan, and because of a shortage of a loanable fund or maybe because of an increase in interest rate, then that is the situation of a crowding out. So how it works? Whenever government spends more, and that spending is not from the tax revenue, then definitely it will take loan from the banks. If banks are having limited loanable fund, definitely the private parties, private investors will be denied to get the loan. So that way, the potential private investment will not come up. Although government has spent on public works, so income generation is taking place, still the economy may not prosper, may not grow at the expected rate because the private investment is going to be choked. So there are 2 interpretations of increasing government spending. Government spends, there is a possibility that government may spend on the socio-economic infrastructure, which may stimulate private investment. We can say if increasing private investment is there, that may lead to increase in private investment, because if the government spending is on public infrastructure, socio-economic infrastructure, then private parties will be facilitated and they may come forward for investment. This is one. And this is called as crowding in. And second is, if at all government is spending more, but that spending is at the cost of private investment, that will be crowding. So in this presentation, I want to focus on crowding out only. If you go by this crowding out concept, the modern father of modern macroeconomist, the James Keynes, he is having different opinion. He is of the opinion that if there is increase in government spending, the multiplier effect will work. As a result, income and consumption will be multiplied. So, crowding out concept is not discussed by us. He is having the opinion that if there is more public expenditure, more public investment, that will lead to increase in private investment. But one aspect he is neglecting, that is it affordable by the private investors? Because there is more demand for capital in the monetary fund market by the government, maybe the rate of interest will be more. Will that be affordable by the private investors? First, second could be, if the monetary fund supply is limited, there is a possibility that after taking the loan to the government, the private party may not get the loan at all. So, this is conditional. So, we can infer that by expansionary fiscal policy, it is improving, we are able to concentrate actually. Can anybody help? It's huge.
Sir, any problem, sir?
It is echoing actually. I am unable to speak because.
Okay, sir. I'm just muting ourselves.
Now it is good. Okay. Thank you. And one more point, if there is a expansionary fiscal policy, means government is going to spend more, then definitely the rate of interest will be more. If the rate of interest is more, then there will be more inflow of capital from the foreign countries, because interest rate is encouraging. So the foreign investors will be trying to invest, or you can say deposit in Indian money and capital market to get more return. In that way, there will be more inflow of dollar, which will be leading to, because supply of dollar is going to be more, there will be a currency appreciation. And that currency appreciation is having a repercussion like decline in the net exports. But if you look in the present scenario, we are having depreciation of Indian currency. So if at this juncture appreciation takes place, it is a matter of pride rather. But if you go by theoretical concept, if we are going by increasing the interest rate, and by doing so, we are encouraging the foreign investors to come forward and invest in our country, then probably the net exports will decline. And public investment in India, the data reveals that there is steady growth in the public investment in India. And if you look at the time series data, we will find that the period when there is increase in government spending, the private investment has gone down. It means we can infer, not exactly concretely, rather we can infer tentatively that there is probably the crowding out effect in the economy. But the concern now I am highlighting is because of the COVID-19. Most of the governments of the different countries, Indian government and also all the state governments, they have spent huge amount on social sectors because of this COVID-19, to fighting it out and to provide some comfort or solace to people. So huge amount of expenditure by government during this COVID-19 and post-COVID also is a point of concern, because that may lead to the crowding out. Of course, that we cannot infer like this. We have to go by the concrete research, whether it is leading to crowding out or not. So we can say that this is a point of doing research, that whether this extra expenses during COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 expenditure by the government has the potential to crowd out private investment or not. But if you go by the observation method from the secondary data, it is seemingly crowding out. But exactly what it is, we have to investigate on that. If you look at this first quarter data, we find that while investments planned by domestic industry were at 5.55% from a year ago, foreign investors' investment plans just 1.8% to amount is 84,000 crore rupees. So we can say, if in this quarter, if we analyze the data, we can conclude that this quarter belongs to the government sector, with central government projects rising over 122% to 1.93 lakh crore rupees, and state projects surging 53.3% to cross 2 lakh crore rupees. So it speaks that there is enormous public expenditure, and we have to test whether this public expenditure has any impact in the form of crowding out of private investment or not. So given the fact, it appears likely that crowding out has played a major role in the Indian economy. However, a more meticulous investigation in a vibrant structure is required to facilitate drawing any conclusions regarding the threats of crowding out. Why people or why economists are apprehending that there is a threat of crowding out? Because there is a huge amount of public expenditure has taken place, and data reveals that there is fall in the private investment. So is that private investment due to non-availability of sustainable fund in the market? Is due to increase in interest rate, or due to some other reason that we have to find out. Then coming to the second concept, what I have planned to speak in this talk is the GAR, General Anti-Tax Avoidance Rule. Why this GAR concept came into picture? There is a concept called DTAA, Double Taxation Avoidance Agreements. India is having this DTAA with 88 countries, and among them 86 agreements are in force. So under in this particular DTAA, it can be source-based or residence-based. What does it mean? It means if India is signing in DTAA, it will be abiding the norms of that agreement. As per that norm, if it is source-based, it means what? The capital gain generated from investment will be taxed at source. I've given an example. If an Indian resident, if an Indian residing in a foreign country gets income from some source in India, either by selling land or shares or any other business, then he has to pay tax in India, because the source of income generation is India. So tax will be as per the source based, and it will be taxed in India, and the country where he is now residing, that country will not tax. But the country where he resides now won't ask him to pay tax on the same source based. Second is residence based. It means he won't have to pay tax in India, even though he has earned money from that country. Rather, the country where he is staying now, that country will be imposing the tax, residence based. The problem here is when we sign the DTA, we have made up the mind that we are not going to get any tax return or tax revenue from the capital gains of that country's population. Let's say, we can take the example of one country, let's say Mauritius or Singapore. These two countries are having a DTA with us, and they are also causing a problem for us. We'll be discussing subsequently also. If any Mauritius investor is investing in our country, in our Indian capital market, then whatever capital gain he or she will be getting, that will be taxed in Mauritius, in the resident of the investor, not in the source. So it means capital gain generated in Indian capital market by the Mauritius investor will be taxed in Mauritius, not in India. This is the provision as per the DTA. But in Mauritius, capital gain is taxed. Therefore, the problem is whatever capital gain that Mauritius investor is generating in Indian capital market, it is going to be tax free. Neither it is taxed in India, nor it is taxed in Mauritius. Then also we should not be worried. Because we have already signed in the DTAA, we should not be worried. We were mentally prepared that this amount of tax revenue we are going to lose. We are not deliberately we are losing this one. So we should not be worried for that. Then question comes, why this GAR is came into the picture? This particular provision means the capital gain generated in the Indian capital market by Mauritius or Singapore investors is going tax free. It gave some advantage or some clue to the Indian investors to follow this route. It means what happened? Some of the investors, instead of directly investing in Indian stock market, they routed their investment through Mauritius. And in this case, the whatever capital gain they are going to generate, that will be, as per the norm, that will be taxed in Mauritius. But in Mauritius, capital gain is taxed. So therefore, Indian investors, they are investing in Indian capital market, generating capital gain, but evading tax. So in this process, Indian government is losing huge amount of tax. So that has been object. Then one question may come to our mind, that then why Indian government is not taking step for making it that who is the Indian investor investing in Indian capital market and taking the advantage of tax evasion. The problem is, whenever any foreign investor invests in Indian capital market, it invests through participator notes, P notes. The P notes are issued by the foreign institutional investors. And as per the laws, SEBI, the regulatory body of this capital market, SEBI, does not have the whereabouts of the P note holders. So if any Indian investors investing through Mauritius institutional investors in Indian capital market, we means the SEBI cannot trace that this person belongs to India. So as a result, huge amount of money, or you can say tax revenue, automatically they are lost. So to check that one, the concept of a GAR came into picture. But whenever the GAR came into picture, it was originally planned to be introduced in 2012, and then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee announced that it will be implemented in the 2012 March, but immediately the Indian stock market crashed. Why so? Because in that particular GAR, it was mentioned that it had provisions to seek taxes from past overseas deals involving local assets restricted. Suppose one individual is traced that he has evaded some amount of tax, then he will be paying the tax retrospective. From the last couple of years, he has to pay the tax. So keeping that fear in mind, almost all the foreign investors, they withdrew. And because of this foreign institutional investment, the Indian stock market crashed. Then it has to be withdrawn. The finance minister again came forward and announced that this GAR is going to be kept in abeyance. It won't be implemented now. Maybe after a couple of years to be implemented. Finally, after multiple attempts to implement it, after revisions in the rule, it came into effect on 1st April 2017. And that too, it has many revisions, and the most important one is it will not work retrospectively, rather prospectively. Then third component, which is known to almost all of us because it was in news headlines in the early 2023, that is manipulation in Indian stock market, the case particularly Adani and Hindenburg issue. It is all about short selling. What the issue is all about, Hindenburg is a research, investment research company based at USA. The objective of this company is to invest on a particular company which it feels that to be researched. Then they'll start researching for a couple of months, and if they find any deviations in their functioning, any unethical practices they found, they start playing their games, because short selling is not illegal in the USA market. Of course, in India also short selling is there, but in some occasions it was banned, but it is not completely banned. But in USA it is completely legal. So what did they generally do in short selling? They borrow some a company's share. Let's say they have the research on Adani group of companies. They borrowed the share of Adani group of companies, and sell it at the market price. They will get some return. And while they have borrowed, they have to repay. They have to repay not in cash, not in liquidity, rather in share only, stock only. So what they will do? What they are doing rather, whatever research they have done on the company regarding the deviations, regarding the malpractices they have done, they will disclose that, publish that in the public domain. As a result, people will be panicked and they will start selling the stocks. In this way, the stock of that particular company value will go down. When the value will go down, they will purchase the stock, and whatever stock they had borrowed previously, they will repay it now. I can give a hypothetical example. Suppose in normal situation, the stock price of, let's say, ABC company was 100 rupees. And they borrowed, suppose, 10 stocks. And so they borrowed 10 stocks, they sold it. So they got 1,000 rupees. And they public the news. Public means whatever research they have done regarding the company's performance, company's strategy, company's way of functioning. If they found something not in right track, they will disclose it. As a result, that will create panic in the market, and the shareholders, stockholders will be selling it, disposing it out. As a result, price is going to go down. Suppose price of that particular stock went down to, let's say, 10 rupees per share. It was 100 rupees, it is not 10 rupees. So at that falling price, they will purchase. They will purchase the share, and the share of 10 counts, they will purchase 10 into 10, 100 rupees. And it means by paying only 100 rupees, they are getting 10 shares, which they will be repaying to the party from where they had borrowed. Means they borrowed 10 shares, sold it at 100 rupees per share, they got 1,000 rupees. Then they released the news of negative attempts, unethical practices of that company. Market reacted negatively, and as a result, the price of stock went down. They purchased the stock at 10 rupees per share. Then, by spending only 100 rupees, they are getting the 10 counts of share. So they now repay the 10 shares what they have borrowed from the party. In this process, they are making money of 900 rupees without doing any investment. They borrowed the share, sold it at a higher price, make the market sensitive, and created hue and cry. As a result, the price went down, and at that down price, they purchased the share and sold it. So this is the activities the Hindenburg does. Then Hindenburg started, as the past record reveals that whatever companies they have targeted, they have owned, and they have made those companies in the verge of a closure. And they targeted Indian company, that is Adani Group of companies. Then the question comes, why this US-based company will focus on a India-based company? It happened because if you look into the data, or you can say the wealth accumulation of Adani Group of companies, it has a, you can say, exponential growth. It became eye-catching. So they started doubting on the performance of the company. So they started doing research on that. So out of their research, they found that the Adani Group of companies has done some manipulations. We know that in our capital market, there is a provision that if any company goes public, maximum 75% of the stock will be with the promoters. and 25% of the stock will be available or floated to the public. Okay, but what Hindenburg is claiming that out of that 25% of the stock which are to be floated to public, 8% and again 13.5%, which is coming around 22%, 21.5%, 2%. 22% of the stock have been owned by the, you can say, related, allied companies or establishments of Adani. That means if you look into the total this one total stock of the share of the promoters, it will be more than 75%. This is one violation. Then question comes, why does this Adani Group will do this? Just to create artificial increase in demand of the stock. 25% stock was available in the market. Out of that 25, so the 20+ percentage, Adani Group himself indirectly purchased. Then people, those who are investing, the common investors, they will feel that this particular company's share is doing excellent in the market. They may come forward to purchase and price will go up. So they manipulated in this way and they try to grab the money. So this is the claim of Hindenburg. It is not a proof date. And then our SEBI advised to go for probing, and probe was going on, it is over, and only 13th of October, the Supreme Court had to go for hearing, but it has been deferred now. Then from this, because it is a really long time, I tried to make it very short. So what we can do that, in this, I would give you the three concepts what I discussed. One is the crowding out, second is car, third is short selling. Yeah, you can say apprehension of manipulation in the stock market. So while public expenditure is a must in a democratic welfare-centric country like India, in order to avoid crowding out, it must rationalize public expenditure. Means government must rationalize public expenditure. Unnecessary expenditure government must not go for, which should not cost the private investment. And second, now India has signed a modified DTA with Mauritius, Cyprus, and Singapore. These are three countries through which we are losing the tax revenues. Means our investors are routing through these countries to invest in Indian stock market and evade tax. So therefore, Indian government has modified this DTA and converted the residence-based taxation to source-based taxation. Means whatever capital gain the investors will be generating from the Indian capital market, it will be taxed as per source-based. Means it will be taxed in India. And again, because in case of this Hindenburg Adani case, we don't know what is the consequence. Whatever claims Hindenburg has given, that only we are discussing. But everything has been rejected by Adani. So time will say, after the hearing of Supreme Court, or depending upon the hearing of Supreme Court, either of the parties who found to be in fault needs to be penalized so that the repetition of the same cannot be can be avoided. So this is all about what I would like to tell about these three concepts. Thank you. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful session. Sir, you can leave the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So before we start for the lunch break, I would like to request you all to kindly note regarding the tracks and in which room you need to be sit down. So for track 1, that is marketing 4.0, will be conducted in main building room 110. That will be coordinated by Ms. Pritha Ghosh, and she is having one volunteer with her, Tanisha. Track 1, marketing 4.0, will be conducted in main building room number 110, and will be conducted by Ms. Pritha Ghosh and Tanisha. Track 2, Economics, Finance and Accounting, and Track 4, Business Analytics, will be held in Main Building Digital Studio. And it will be coordinated by me, along with a volunteer, Irshad. Irshad, please come over. I am repeating, Track 2, Economics, Finance and Accounting, and Track 4, Business Analytics, will be held in Main Building Digital Studio. So you all can coordinate me and Irshad. We will guide you and take you in that building. Track 3, Human Resource Management, will be conducted over here in BC Roy Auditorium only, and that will be coordinated by Ms. Priyanka Chakraborty. She will be holding this session over here. So Track 3, Human Resource Management, will be coordinated over here only in BC Roy Auditorium. So after lunch, please report at 2:30, and student volunteer Fiza will be there. She will be coordinating the session. So lunch break will start now, so you all have to join our parallel session from 2:30 p.m. So requesting all to have a lunch break.